Panthers, Bucs, Steve. Biggest game in Carolina since when?
Long time.
Long time. Long time is the right answer.
Years.
It is, and it got a lot more weight put on it after the Panthers could not beat the Saints coming out of their bye. And I remember you and I having that conversation, by the way, real quick, where we were like, we hear everybody in the locker room saying we can't let up out of the bye. We had this great win against the Rams. We got to make sure we come out and play out of the bye. And they lose to the Saints. They had a 47% chance of making the postseason before that game. It dropped to 24% now is where they sit after losing that game. If they would have beaten the Saints, they would have just had to win this game against the Bucs this week, and they're in. They still can get in, though. What they have to do is, if they beat the Bucs in this game and the season finale, Steve, they are in. If they split with the Bucs, either way with one of these games, this week or the season finale, they have to win their game against Seattle, and they need the Bucs to lose their game against, I believe, Miami. And that's how they would get in if they split. So they made things more difficult, but they certainly still can get in. They lose this game, they have a 5% chance to get into the postseason.
And I'm just double checking. If they lose the remainder of their games, they're not in.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not in. I feel like
okay.
Boop.
Well, you want to have all the you have all
1%.
The calculation.
They technically through the simulator, because I work over at the Athletic as well, they have a 1% chance to get into the postseason.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So I guess we're Lloyd Christmas here from Dumb and Dumber, and we're saying there is a chance if they do. But if you do this,
if you're the last man on earth, so you're saying there's a chance.
But see, the simulator does say they win this game against the Bucs, they win the finale against the Bucs, they're in. They win this game against the Bucs, they lose the other two. Ooh, it's tough.
So let me ask you. Let's say they beat the Bucs this week,
and then beat Seattle next week.
Yes.
Right? Their probability is 66% heading into the final.
Okay, cool. Now reverse it. Lose to the Bucs. And beat Seattle. Heading into the final game against the Bucs. What is the percentage?
18%.
Ooh. So they go right now they're at 24. If they lose, win 18. Ooh. I don't like that one.
No. This is a huge one. This is a huge one.
Huge.
Steve, I know we were talking before we push into this game against the Bucs. What did you see that needed to be corrected, you didn't like against New Orleans? I know the penalties were a huge issue, and a team that hasn't had a whole lot of penalty issues the course of the season. What went wrong against New Orleans that they've now made this path more difficult on themselves?
Well, I just think they started off slow, right? When you look at the offense, right, heading in, your top wide receiver, T-Mac, didn't catch a pass until a minute and 54 seconds left in the first half. He had no catch, and then you have his first catch on a huge fourth down conversion. So you're missing an opportunity to get the ball to your guys. And that creates great confidence in the secondary. T-Mac was going against Riley, a DB who started off the season as a special teams and came in, made a great play by Riley, giving up. T-Mac was about to catch the ball, did a great job, right? That was a touchdown saving, went into the halftime. Bobby Brown III is making plays. But then in the first half against the New Orleans Saints, third down conversions, 3 of 4. But overall, in the season, 37%. Those are the little things when you don't capitalize on opportunities. This is a team who struggles on third and medium. And in this game, depending on who you talk to, they had some, I love to do some redo plays on third and short, fourth and short. Right? A lot of people here in Carolina are talking about the field goal that wasn't made and why didn't you let Bryce Young, why didn't you allow him to do the quarterback sneak? Right? Here's some of why. Some of it has to do with he's had an ankle injury right? Mm-hmm. Getting tackled. So you don't want to put your young quarterback in a vulnerable position for his lower extremities to get hit and knocked under. So that's one of the things that I think. The other part too is you want to continue to keep running the football, establishing a run. Establishing a run on short downs gives you the opportunity to build and alter your run plays. Great example, the tush push. Mm-hmm. Haven't we seen now variations of line up in the tush push, but then giving a ball to Saquon Barkley on a different run, right? Doing a lot of different things because you are showing a team over and over, this is how you're going to play. This is the play. And so the coach is saying, hey, when they line up in this formation with this guy, this is what they're doing. Balls to the wall, let's go. Penetration, nose dive, go inside, give our linebackers the opportunity. So you have to run the football. Mm-hmm. It is essential. But here's the thing. After scoring, man, in the second quarter, Bryce only 3 minutes and 26 seconds in the second quarter. Bryce was 4 of 6 for 34 yards. You got to have more than that, especially when the New Orleans Saints come in and have a 17-play, 95-yard drive for a touchdown. The longest drive for the year for them. Plays, time of possession, and yardage. You know, you just got to do things differently. You got to have explosive plays in the first half and in the second half, because if not, you especially against your division rival, and that's where the games get too close. The biggest thing with just not the Panthers, but anybody, when you play in your division, man, you're playing your cousin. And you know them just like they know you. Right? One of the most interesting things about this game, talking about cousins, Chris Olave, first half, barely targeted. Yep. T-Mac, barely targeted in the first half. Fourth quarter, what do they do? Chris Olave is now the guy. Mm-hmm. Now they're attacking him, high volume. This is a kid who's leading the league in targets. I think 120, 100, C-note worth of targets. Then they had some great plays. Coming out in the second half, the Saints made a point to shut down the run game against the Carolina Panthers. That first drive, they were like, look, you're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to beat us. They had guys in the box. Linebackers coming downhill. I'm talking about coming downhill, right? Mm-hmm. Safeties coming downhill. Press coverage out on the receivers. So 17-7 in the third quarter, after running a double move with Coker, uses his hands, great job.
Good ball.
But just too many young guys making young mistakes. This is a very young team. They're going to leave points. They're going to leave plays on the field because they're young. This is the first time that they are experiencing fighting for the division in the driver's seat. This is a team prior to, they lost 40-0, right, to the Buffalo Bills and did not quit offensively. Yeah. They were down, gave their opponent, the Arizona Cardinals, 10-plus score head start. Right, so playing not just efficient football, but a little bit of mistake-free football can do this team wonders.
Yeah, Steve, I'm curious because it's kind of been a team, and you kind of touched on it there for a second, where we've seen like two different teams. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they'll get beat by Atlanta by 30, then they'll come back.
Hold on. They beat Atlanta by 30.
They beat Atlanta by 30. Get that
right.
And then
they lost to the Buffalo Bills.
Then they get mopped by New England, right? Yep. And then they fall to the Bills by 29, and then they go win at Lambeau. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then San Fran Monday night, they didn't seem to have their greatest performance. They go and then beat the Rams. And so is this where we're going to see that? You play the Saints, a team that we all expected them to go and beat, who, by the way, Tyler Shoug's playing better football down the stretch here.
Tyler Shough is, I think they think they have their
guy. They might have their guy. Do you see this being one of those instances where, okay, now we got Tampa, it's all on the line, we're back? Like, it seems like they had these swings where they are young, they may, like you said, make some mistakes in games and maybe not win a game that we thought they were supposed to win, and then they swing back and exceed expectations because there is talent there. There are guys in the room, though, by the way, that have playoff experience, that have Super Bowls. They tried to get some of those guys in that room, but they haven't done it together.
Yeah, they haven't done it together. And the guy who's giving you the advice, the young guy who's receiving it, he's shaking his head, yes. He don't have no damn idea what he's talking about because he hasn't experienced it.
Yeah.
Right? You can play football and you can coach a guy up, but, man, it ain't nothing better than a dose of reality is when you're out there on the field and you're going, oh, yeah, whoa, this is a lot faster. Oh, bam, right? It's a lot faster than what I thought. And that's why the preseason has really been important because in that first preseason game, I can tell you there's a number of times where I thought I was in shape, and I was. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't in game shape.
Difference. Mm-hmm.
And now you behind the schedule of throws, and all of a sudden now, your first 15 plays, you've had to abandon that schedule because they aren't doing what you calculated they would do.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this about this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because you hear this from Canales during the week or after games where it's, the consistency needs to be there. We all need to be on the same page. We've seen pressure be an issue of late a little bit affecting Bryce and of how kind of the continuity and the chemistry of how this whole offensive thing works. Does it all have to work? Like, I guess, does it have to have everything working right for plays to happen? Do you get what I'm saying? It seems like when one part breaks down, it's very detrimental to a play. Does it all have to go right for things to happen for this offense?
For any offense, you want majority of things
to go right.
To go right. Mm-hmm. And one of that has to do with, do we know what this team is actually going to do? Mm-hmm. Mm. And sometimes you do, and then you get in the gameplay and they switch things up. And now all of a sudden you have to make those adjustments. We'll talk about it. But, man, there's a lot of teams who have won games this year and have failed to make adjustments and just got lucky.
The lack of second half adjustments across the NFL this year has been wild,
it's been remarkable
to watch at times. Yeah,
it's like, what, Coach? What are you paying attention to? Are you on the same area code that I'm in right now?
Yeah. They flipped it on us here. I don't think we need 6 drives to figure it out of what they've done differently.
Now, I use Simply Safe. I got a new place, and I'm sitting here, and I go back and forth. I'm always somewhere, but I'm never really at home on a consistent basis. And I really love Simply Safe because there's no contracts. You can cancel at any time. But I love on the app, you can utilize and see everything that's going on. It's just not there to secure and have security for your home. It also prevents crimes from happening. They will get on the horn and try and will get those bad guys out of the way. But the biggest thing I love about Simply Safe, when you're traveling, one of the biggest things I love right here, they got a water sensor. Now, what is this water sensor? Like, Steve, what are you talking about, a water sensor? Here's what I love about the water sensor. They have this little old gadget. And this gadget, you just take it and you sit it on the floor or by the toilet or under the sink. And if a little bit of drop of water comes out, it just doesn't beep at the house. Because beeping at the house and you're not home, that doesn't work. But right now, you can get an alert And by getting alert, you can have somebody come in and it prevents a lot of damage. Some of the biggest issues right now in winter is pipes freezing and all of a sudden you've lost. Getting robbed is one thing, but losing everything you own and worked hard for over some water damage, that's something that you don't want to do. Simply Safe gives you that opportunity to safeguard not just your home, but safeguard your valuables from things that are not present that you're unaware of, and that's water. So Simply Safe will take care of you. Take it from me. I love Simply Safe, and Simply Safe has put my mind at ease when I'm traveling. This month only, take 50% off your new system. This is one of the best prices you will ever see for Simply Safe. Don't miss it. Hit simplysafe.com/89show. Again, that's simplysafe.com/89show and lock in your discount. There's no safe like Simply Safe. I'm optimistic and also impressed. I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed as a Panther guy, because I already know this team was so young, and you got to allow them to grow, right? And you got to let some of the areas that you already know they're kind of struggling in, that against better teams or against teams who are wanting to attack some of those weaker areas that they're going to address in the draft and in free agency, that is going to be there.
Yeah. Can I say something? I think there's more pressure on the Bucs going into this game than the Panthers.
You think? Go do tell. How? But so pressure on the Bucs. So you saying the Bucs? I get that. The team.
And the head coach.
But there we go. That's why pressure, right?
Yeah.
What is the pressure on is because the pressure isn't on the long snapper when he's hiking it. It's the pressure's on the kicker, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But like, if you're coming in, like if you're sitting here from 10,000 feet, you're going, wow, the Bucs were 5-1. Yeah. People were talking about them being a Super Bowl contender. They were talking about Baker being an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
And it now,
and rightfully so, because Baker
he was balling.
He was balling. I would say he's still balling. I think a lot of injuries has really taken its toll offensively and defensively for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Certainly has. I kind of asked around a little bit, Steve, going like, what have you seen different in Baker? And there is an idea of like, sometimes quarterbacks do get in a little bit of a funk. He's had guys in and out around him, which could play a part in that. There was that chemistry with Emeka Egbuka early on that kind of seems to have changed a little bit of late.
Well, teams are neutralizing.
Yep.
Right. Teams are neutralizing him, going out of their way to slow him down. Right. Saying, hey, Chris Godwin, let's see if you're in football shape. Let's see how
are you
much,
Chris Godwin, which we're
yes.
The guy we're used to see.
Are you the old Chris Godwin or are you the older Chris Godwin?
Oh, I like the way you put that.
Right, and then obviously with Mike Evans back, that helps. That puts defenses on alert. Right. I tell you the matchup though, I would expect a pissed off J.C. Horn, because that was intentional for them to go after him over the last couple of weeks. The New Orleans Saints have really challenged J.C. Horn. It's like, hey, Chris Olave and you this y'all two. Y'all go at it. Oh, yeah. And Chris Olave beat him on the slant. He tried to go for the pick. I don't blame him for the pick. It was tight coverage. As Joe Thomas, always said, no risk it, no biscuit.
Who said that?
Joe Thomas. He would say that all the time when we used to do Thursday night. No risk it, no biscuit.
I thought that was Bruce Arians. This is always his.
No, I don't think I had too many conversations with Bruce Arians. So
okay. Listen, I also think the way I want to see this Panthers defense work is, and these same conversations I had is, when's Baker at his best, Steve? When he's really decisive, he sees it early, balls out quick, makes a decision, and lets it rip. That's not what we've seen of late. Before this last game, before Mike came back, it was 4 straight games he didn't crack 200 yards passing. And so I'm interested to see what Baker kind of shows up. And the pressure that I mentioned, I think it is on Todd Bowles. I think Canales has done a good job this season. He's gotten a young group headed in the right direction. They're building this culture. Well, Todd Bowles is coming off 3 division championships, 3 division titles. And now we're sitting in a very different spot than we have. And I mean, did you see Todd Bowles after that loss?
He was hot. And Todd is a very mild-mannered individual.
Big time.
Soft-spoken. But when he gets pissed, it's like when your auntie, your nana, your mama, when they call you by your birth name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get Stevan Latrell Smith Sr. I'm getting my ass whooped. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. I saw it right there. Your head snaps real quick when you hear that. What?
What? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Stevan, yes.
So, listen, I think there's a very different perception in these 2 buildings about the way this season ends. There will be very different conversations, I think, between comparing the 2 buildings.
So if that's the case, we throw Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the hat of new head coach.
Possibly.
Do they hire within? Right? Does offense coordinator, does he move in? Because here's the problem.
Running through offensive coordinators, man. Dave Canales was there 2 years ago. Liam Cohen was there last year.
So what do you do, and who's the next guy? Is this where if the Steelers let go of Mike Tomlin, is it Mike Tomlin? Does he help shift things in Tampa Bay? And does Jason Light say, hey, the new head coach, you can do you. But we want to keep, because of our quarterback, we want to keep this coordinator.
Yeah. I'm even fascinated if the same perception of Baker is there at the end of the season as it was at the beginning of the year. I think they still like him, for sure.
I'm very critical of him, but I think that's a bad move. Right?
I didn't say they'd move on, but I'm saying
horrible move if you move on from Baker, because you move on to who? Kirk Cousins.
I didn't say you move on
to some of the guys that you move on to some of the guys who are backups, and they are backups for a very good reason.
I didn't say move on. I just said the discussion on the contract extension would be different than it was when he was balling at the beginning.
I usually don't. I usually don't come to his defense, but
I'm not kicking him out the door.
I'll jump through this camera. It went from 4K to 8K. 3D.
They like him. I'm just saying, if you start the way he started and you finish the way they've been playing of late, the contract numbers and the discussion are very different than what they would have been. If
I got you, doggy.
I
got you.
Yeah. So listen,
but here's the exciting part. The exciting part, not just for the Panthers, but the NFC South. You got 3 teams who, at some point, you were asking, are they rebuilding? And you start to say, they aren't rebuilding. They're adding to. And so it started to become competitive. You got to remember, the New Orleans Saints when they had Jeff Blake and
Aaron Brooks.
Yes, Aaron Brooks, where there was a new division winner. Like the games were literally coming down to the last 3 weeks of the season of who gets in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Man, that was exciting football, and I think we're on the precipice of doing that right now, where you can have some guys in the NFC South knock out some other teams that now you can have 2 or 3 representation from your division, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's a fascinating division to watch after the season too. We kind of laid it out there too. It's gonna be fun, man. Here we go.